tonight.
The production at our Adelaide facility will cease at or around the end of March this year.
7 News, live from the Adelaide studios of Channel 7 with Jane Doyle and John Riddell.
Good evening and welcome to this special edition of 7 News. Details of another interest rate rise shortly. But first, we go to John at Tonsley Park for the devastating news on Mitsubishi's close down. John?
Thanks, Jane. Yes, Mitsubishi's announced the last cars have been built here and the plant will be shut in just 8 weeks and nearly 1,000 workers will be thrown out of a job. Many of them downed tools for the last time this afternoon and walked over to the company canteen to be given the bad news. But as the winds of industrial change sweep through the southern suburbs, the flow-on effects will be enormous. First up in our extensive coverage tonight, political reporter Mike Smithson, who joins us from Parliament.
Yes, thanks, John. The decision to close Tonsley Park, axe the 380 as well as 930 jobs was officially made in Tokyo this morning. But it's now quite clear that things had been moving in that direction for weeks. The company says there was nothing wrong with the 380, it just couldn't sell them. It blames a small Australian market and high export exchange rates as the killers. It says it was a difficult but necessary decision.
This joint decision was reached with much reluctance. However, in an ever-changing world, it has been forced upon us.
The workers will lose their jobs, finish production at the end of next month. Now, the company says that it will be very generous towards its loyal workforce. On offer is an industry-best remuneration package, as well as retraining and as much counselling as necessary.
Certainly in the next few weeks, protecting their welfare and allowing them their own privacy will be our top priority.
The Premier, for his part, well, he wants the $35 million lifeline given to Mitsubishi. He wants that back. Already the company has guaranteed that every cent will be returned. Now, as well, there will be an $85 million federal and state package. That'll be totally designed to help get workers their jobs in another area.
Our concern is about Mitsubishi workers and their families who've had a real kick in the guts today.
Now, the company says that it has such a small slice of the Australian market, it almost says that those suppliers that supply it and the 3 other manufacturers, well, they won't lose too much market share at all. They'll survive. Back to you, John.
Thanks, Mike. Mike Smithson reporting there. Now, of course, the news has devastated the workers here. After the announcement, some forced back tears, but others saw it coming.
My family, my sister, my husband works here as well. It's just destroyed me. I've been here for 22 years on the day that we shut our doors.
Everybody have to go live up north to work. Where's all the jobs in the south? It's a joke.
The managing director was visibly affected, and I think he's probably more upset than a lot of us, really.
It's sad, extremely sad. I've been here since I was 15. It's a very, very sad day.
Well, it's been a long time coming. You knew it was going to happen. Yeah. So we've been preparing for it for a little while.
Oh, plenty of jobs out there, mate. We'll just go get another job.
It's sad. I've seen a lot of friends here. 29 years I've been here, so a lot of friends I've made and I know, so they're the ones I'm going to miss.
I don't know yet. I can't really comment. I don't know what I'm going to do.
A bit shell shock?
Yeah, it is.
I got to go.
Thank you. See ya.
A leading economist says the closure of Mitsubishi could cost the jobs of thousands of other workers. And the local mayor fears they'll be forced out of the southern suburbs to find work elsewhere.
For as long as Mayor Felicity Ann Lewis can remember, car making's been a fixture of the south. Her father worked at Tonsley Park when it was Chrysler.
It was like a whole city really built around the Chrysler plant.
She says today's closure's another blow for local employment.
We've lost jobs with the foundry and with the mobile refinery, and so clearly we're wanting to focus on making sure there's employment for these people in the southern areas.
There'll definitely be flow-on impacts. For every job lost, 1 or 2 other jobs are lost throughout the economy.
Already, private car transporters have been turned away from the plant. Components manufacturers are tipped to suffer too, though many saw it coming and planned accordingly. New plans for the site are already being flagged.
use the site, the land that's made available, the skills that are available to create new industries.
One of the problems for Southern Adelaide has been this heavy reliance on one major employer.
The local council says it's already working on strategies to attract industry to the southern suburbs, but it's concerned the latest Mitsubishi drama will drive workers further north.
Local real estate agents share those fears.
They will venture north for looking for employment opportunities, particularly in the northern suburbs with the industry there.
Andrea Nicholas, 7 News.
So where did it all go wrong? A man who used to run Mitsubishi Australia says the company only has itself to blame.
Graham Sperling was Mitsubishi Australia's boss for 6 years during the company's heyday in the 1980s. He was devastated by today's news, but not surprised. He says the company's been heading towards failure for years because the appeal of its cars is too narrow.
Mitsubishi has never adopted Australia as a source of manufacture of a particular model that can go throughout the world.
When Mitsubishi took over the Lonsdale and Tonsley plants from Chrysler in 1980, the company employed 5,000 workers and the Sigma and Colt models were flying out the door. Then production switched to the Magna and later the Verada. After cruising through the 90s, the wheels started falling off when Magna sales nosedived and speculation about the company's future became rife. The company shut its Lonsdale engine plant in 2004, shedding 650 jobs, and also started cutting its Tonsley workforce. All hope was pinned on the all-new 380 model.
I think consumers have always had a problem with the way that the car looks.
The $600 million design took 4 years to develop, but just 3 years to fail. Alex Hart, 7 News.
When Mitsubishi's Lonsdale plant closed down, a multi-million-dollar assistance package was put in place for redundant workers. The union says this time around, the emergency help will need to work a lot better.
After 18 years' service, Paul's Rim was made redundant in 2004 when Lonsdale closed down. Told he'd be funded to help learn new skills, he decided to do a 3-year university degree, but the cash dried up after the first year.
They promised a lot and didn't deliver a great deal, and a lot of the information was mixed up.
Through a $10.6 million combined state and federal rescue program, almost all workers who applied for help were referred to other employers.
It took some of them some time and they had to retrain, but there was a package there to help them, and the majority did get extra work.
But the union says in most cases it was only a band-aid measure.
A lot of those workers only found work with small companies that receive federal government assistance for quite a number of weeks, and when that money dried up, the people were made redundant.
A Flinders University professor who tracked the redundant workers found 40% gained only casual or short-term employment, and there was a higher rate of mental health problems.
I think getting these people back into work is going to be much more difficult than governments recognise.
The state government is encouraging ex-Mitsubishi workers to contact their local job network provider. Michelle Vella, 7 News.
So this has turned into a dark day indeed, not just here at Tonsley Park, but for the entire state. Back to you, Jane, at Hindmarsh.
Thanks very much, John, reporting there from the Mitsubishi plant. Now turning to other news, and home buyers have been hit by an 11th straight interest rate rise.